Well, a lot has happened really in the last few days, especially in the context of the auction that took place of spectrum and the results thereof. And upon reflection, all that I can say is that ultimately any sector of the economy must deliver for the people of this country. I guess the whole purpose of any sector is that the ultimate advantage.
Increase the volume of mic.
It's fixed.
Switched on.
I'll speak closer to the mic. As I was saying that the whole purpose of economic development ultimately is to empower the Aam Aadmi. And if I really look back to what happened subsequent to 2001 in the telecom sector in particular, it was a great story. It was a great story for India, and the world talked about it. The growth of the telecom sector, the penetration, the teledensity that India had been able to achieve over the years. And the fact of the matter is that today we have about 930 million mobile phones in this country. But somehow something happened in 2007, 2008 that started a trend which ultimately resulted in emasculating the hen that laid the golden egg. The telecom story is no longer a story that we can talk about the rest of the world. And people ask us questions as to what happened. And quite frankly, I have no answers. All I can say is that certain events took place and there was a level of sensationalism that took over, and the government was in a sense limited in its policy prescriptions and had to move forward in a certain way, which ultimately has resulted in what we have seen a couple of days ago. I just want to read one sentence from the Supreme Court judgment. In which, and I refer you to paragraph 83. Para 81, subpara 3 says, keeping in view the decision taken by the central government in 2011, TRAI shall make fresh recommendations for a grant of license and allocation of spectrum in 2G band in 22 service areas by auction, as was done for allocation of spectrum in 3G band. The central, subpara 4 said the central government shall consider the recommendations of TRAI and take appropriate decision within the next 1 month, and fresh licenses be granted by auction. You know that period was extended by the court pursuant to an application made by us. But pursuant to this, the TRAI made its recommendations and took the actual 3G price, which was worked out at 16,750 crores, pan-India license for 5 megahertz. And remember, 3G was 2,100 band. Then put in an efficiency factor because 2G was in 1,800 band. Indexed it by 1 year and came to a price by applying a factor of 8 at 18,000 megahertz, 18,000 crores for 5 megahertz. That's what happened. This is in GSM. In CDMA, the TRAI recommended twice the value, so 36,000. When it came to the EGOM, we realized that these numbers, even though these recommendations were given by TRAI, if we had stuck to what the recommendations were, perhaps the result would have been even worse. But the result is there for all to see. And all that I can say is, in retrospect, that policy is best left to the government. If there is any wrongdoing in implementation of policy, certainly courts should intervene. But if you bind down the government to a particular prescription, the results can be very negative. Remember, the dynamics of the market changes from time to time, from year to year. What happened in 2010 cannot be compared to what happened in 2008. What happened in 2010 cannot be compared to what happened in 2012. You cannot extrapolate figures and sensationalize them and destroy the hen that laid the golden egg. Who benefited? The consumer did not benefit. The whole purpose of the policy is for the consumer to benefit. We talked about high revenues in 3G. The government surely got more than 1 lakh crore. But what happened? The government got the revenue, the consumer got nothing. Is that the purpose of any policy? There was no rollout of 3G. What use is it for government to get revenues and for the consumer not to be empowered? Revenue by itself cannot be the sole criteria for deciding on a particular policy prescription. And if you bandy about figures of this nature, 1,76,000 crores, where are those 1,76,000 crores? I think this is a lesson that all of us must learn, put together must learn, and that allow those institutions which are charged with the responsibility of doing certain things, allow them to do those things. The contours of institutional responsibility, which are defined in the Constitution, must be adhered to. Then only can the country move forward. Thank you very much.